This week I've ordered some stuff here I want to show you. Some reasons why I ordered some things around here. So my shop vac that I have here, it's a 14 gallon, I think it's 14 or 15 gallon shop vac, 5 horsepower. Anyway, the bag is nice and full there, so it was starting to spew out some dust. And so basically I got the yellow bag here, and this is the stuff that I ordered. I like the high efficiency bags because it has a finer hole to trap all of the fine dust particles that you get in woodworking. I use that in combination with a special order of this as well. I've always had this for a while now. This is a special HEPA filter, after filter. So I got 2 stages of the best filtration in my shop vac, and yeah, I really don't take dust for granted around here. Another thing I ordered was some more of these Kreg pocket hole screws. This was on Amazon. I think it was like $3.99 add-on item for 100 screws. Not too bad. But I usually buy these drywall screws. You can see the quantity difference here. I'm sure this is like at least 200 screws in here. And the reason why I like these drywall screws instead of typical wood screws is these are just your normal Phillips head that don't strip out. Wood screws that I've used in the past have always stripped out after 1 or 2 tries. Now I'm going to try to glue some more here. But I want to show you before I do that my, I guess, glue technique and also the tool that I use for gluing. So typically for wood glue, you can buy something like this. It's called a Titebond 2. It comes in Titebond 3, 1, different levels. Basically, the higher the level, the more bonding strength it has, and the more weatherproofing it has, things like that. You can probably look into that if you really wanted to. But it comes in a typical bottle like this. There are bigger bottles, but the tip is usually it usually hardens with a glue residue afterwards, and you have to clean it out every time, and it's a little difficult to keep clean, and you also have to squeeze the glue out as you're applying it over your surface. So what I've seen online, people usually buy is a thing is called a glue bot. And so basically you fill glue into this reservoir here, it comes down and it flows back up over here, and you can just tilt it, squeeze it a little bit over here, and the glue just really comes out uniformly. So after you're done applying that, one thing they suggest you do is you spread the glue out evenly on your surface. If you have 2 pieces, glue on both surfaces. Usually I just do 1 though. So you spread enough glue on it to when you press the 2 pieces together, you get some squeeze out on the end. You can use your finger to spread it out, or you can use something like this. It's a wood glue brush. This one's made by the company Bench Dog. So what it does is, or what it has is a silicone brush on one side and like a spatula, hard plastic spatula on the other side. Now the silicone brush is awesome, and I'll grab the other brush that I have, and I'll show you here. This is the brush I used last weekend, and you can see there's a lot of glue residue still left in it. Glue is very stiff when it dries, and the silicone brush is very pliable, and in that attribute you can peel out pieces of glue, and you can clean out all the bristles without dunking this in water or doing anything like that, putting in solvents or anything like that. So you just peel it out the next week and you're good to go. These kinds of brushes also come in different sizes as well. Here's one from Rockler. These are mini silicone glue tools. So you got the silicone heads on one side here, and you got another silicone tip in one side here. So tools like this, you got the round tip here. It's good for plugging in glue in some holes that you want to put dowels in, or other small crevices as well. So this is one of the drawer fronts I just completed. You can see there's holes in there in the front, drilled in diagonally from the pocket hole jig. And just to show you how the screw sets in here, it goes in diagonally like this and into the side piece like this. And you can see that there's a lot of screw in there that pulls this joint together really tightly. And this method I actually learned from a guy named Jay Bates online. It's not really his method, but I've seen this method in a lot of cabinetry, a lot of woodworking. But his rationale to use this kind of overkill joint assembly for drawers is because that in the front drawer there's a lot of pulling and pushing going on, and you need a really strong joint, a really strong fastener kind of joint to really hold the front piece in place for the extended abuse that it gets. And I'll post his link in the bottom here. So the way that my K5 Kreg pocket hole jig works is that there's a setting in here that shows you the different thicknesses of wood that this thing is capable of. In this case, we are working with 3/4 inch wood, and this sets the height with this pin in here. And what this thing is a guide for the drill bit to come in at an angle through the wood. And you can see there's flutes inside here, and this is like a metal sleeve on the inside, and there's little holes that it guides the drill bit through. And so set it there, 3/4 of an inch, and the drill bit slides in like this. And this is a special drill bit as well. It has, I'm not sure if you can see here, it has two diameters. There's a small diameter, and the larger diameter is what sets the top of the hole that, or I should say the countersink that the screw sits into. So here's a screw. You can see that this is a special type of screw for the pocket hole jig. It's got a flat head. There's no radius in there at all, like you would see in a normal drywall screw. It also has this square head instead of a flat head or a Phillips. And it also has self-tapping cutting head right in here. So what that does is when you screw in, you don't need to drill the hole. It basically creates its own hole for you by this little notch that it has in the tip of the screw. So basically, you stick your piece of wood in here, and basically K5 jig is this entire thing, and it's a thing that holds your piece of wood in place, and you lock it in, and you can make quick holes in this. Now the lower versions of the Kreg jigs are basically just this piece here and none of this stuff down here, which also includes little boxes to hold all your screws, all your bits and things like that. One thing I should also mention that to set the drill bit, there's a collar here, so you can basically use this step gauge to again use to measure out your piece of wood here. So you stick this in here, and you set the depth of your bit, and then you tighten the collar. This collar has a screw in it, a set screw. You tighten that collar to set that height. So every hole you make is going to have the same depth of cut.
Well, here are all the drawers finally finished. Those are the two top ones and the two pairs of the lower ones here. And everything seems to fit. A few hiccups here and there, but basically pretty good. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. I'll see you guys next week.